Hello everyone, thank you for watching KTK Plus. I'm your host Tristen VanBeem, and we are going to talk about arts from the perspective of the students today. I know it's something a little different, something that we haven't done here on the KTK Plus channel as of right now, but I just want to dive into that topic and see what it has to do in the world of fine arts. Join with me today is Glenn Ballard, the Executive Director of Young Audiences for Northeast Texas, and two students that have gone through the program and are now thriving at their respective colleges. Their names are Kayla Powell, who is a sophomore at Texas A&M University, and Anna Hall, who is also a sophomore, but at University of Texas in Austin. And according to Glenn, both of them were athletes and artists during their high school years, which taught them how to balance a lot of tasks while also being a full-time student. Now, enough for introductions. I know this is kind of a long one. Let's go ahead and meet all of our guests for today. All right, how are we all doing today?
Great, Tristen. How are you?
Good.
Awesome. I'm doing amazing as well. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is the first time that we've had this many guests on KTK Plus, so this is going to be a different experience for not just us here in the studio, but also everyone watching at home. And I just want to say I appreciate everyone coming by. This is a definitely unique topic that we haven't really covered. And to start this off, I figured we could just have everyone introduce themselves and how they were involved in young audiences, or maybe just how they were involved in the arts in general. Glenn, would you like to just go ahead and go first and tell us about your time at Young Audiences, and also as the executive director, what does that role entail, and how have you been able to inspire the next generation of artists?
Okay. Thank you, Tristen. It's good to be here today. So my name is Glenn, and I'm the new executive director of Young Audiences in Northeast Texas. And a lot of people, we're finding out, don't know much about us, but the fact is the organization has been around for over 30 years now, serving the students and the schools in Northeast Texas. And in my role as executive director, I'm responsible for the daily operations of the organization, as well as working with teaching artists and lining them up with the schools that need the specific programs that they offer. And one of the reasons I'm happy to be here today is because we talk a lot about the arts, and usually it's from the perspective of the artist and what inspired them, and how they, focus on their creative skills. Sometimes we talk about arts from the standpoint of school administrators, and how do we find time in the schedule, and how do we find money for it. And today I thought it'd be really interesting to talk to two very accomplished young student artists and the impact that these programs have had in their life. So I'm thankful for Kayla and Anna. They have meant a lot to me over the years and are still very precious people to me.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Glenn, for sharing. And I just figured we could start off with Kayla and ask you the same kind of questions. Can you just talk to us about your experience in theater and how you got to know Glenn as a mentor?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Mr. Ballard. That was so kind. So I started theater with actually a 6th grade drama rotation, and we were just required to try out each of the arts, and I never expected myself to enjoy theater as much as I did. I remember he had us read a story standing on the chair in front of the whole class, and I just felt like I was thriving up there, which I never would have expected or been prepared for. And so from then on out, I've just gotten the privilege of working under Mr. Ballard and just growing with him, learning from him, and it's really been a privilege, and it's been great.
Awesome. And then Anna, could you do the same thing as well? Just talk to us about your time in Young Audiences, and also just what inspired you to get into the arts as well.
Yeah, I was in Young Audiences whenever I was younger, but Mr. Ballard, I actually shadowed Kayla in Mr. Ballard's class my 7th grade year, and I was like, oh my, this is so fun. So in 8th grade, I was in drama and Mr. Ballard, and we did these, I did a poetry, and where I read out this poem, and did it in front of the school, and it was just the most, something I felt like I was good at. And I am a horrible reader, and I'm a horrible school person, but then this is this is my place.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
But Mr. Ballard and his classroom just gave me so much confidence, and those were where I found my best friends in high school. And Mr. Ballard was just more than just a theater teacher, but he was almost my friend too. He wouldn't just tell me how to do better, which of course he would tell me how to do better a lot, but he would just give us life advice every single day that I still use with me right now.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And speaking of life lessons and stuff just along those lines, I was thinking about Kayla, could you just talk about some lessons that the arts has taught you throughout your years in performing theater?
Yes, of course. Going to college really made me realize how much arts really teaches you about who you are and how you interact with other people. One way that I've really seen it is I've had some opportunities to speak publicly since I've graduated from high school, and I just have a certain sense of confidence in it that I don't think I ever would have had I not gone through theater in high school and just learned that it's okay to be up on a stage in front of people and that it's a place where you can truly express yourself, and it doesn't have to be this scary stage fright thing. It can be a place where you can truly thrive and teach others. And that's something that I learned from Mr. Ballard's direction, is just to get up there and be bold and not be nervous, express who you are. So one thing that I've gotten told all the time is that I'm a good communicator and I'm a good public speaker, and it is nothing that I've done, but it's everything that I've learned from being a theater student in high school.
That's amazing. I feel like it's one of those kind of underrated classes to have in a high school setting that just really teaches you about life. I mean, like you said, it really helps you learn how to speak in public and just speak in front of people and to kind of come out of your shell. That's one thing that is very useful, in the actual real world outside of school, and as you're probably learning in college as well. And I just wanted to ask, Anna, could you walk us through your journey as well and what lessons that you have learned throughout your time in the arts?
Yeah, honestly, mine is pretty similar to Kayla. I just have gained so much confidence in knowing who I am and being able to stand up on stage. There's been so many opportunities in college where I have to public speak, and that's something I would consider myself terrified of, even though I love being on the stage, but like public speaking for some reason is different in my brain, and I am able to do it, and I'm like, I don't know how, and it just like brings me back to like how many times I've had to be comfortable with just people staring at me and just me like talking. And even I'm like Mr. Ballard's skills, I'm a young life leader, and we do little skits every single Monday, and I am always the person that they're asking to go up there and perform, and it just makes me laugh to think that the things that I've been learning in high school I'm using randomly in college.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I love that you guys both learned such valuable lessons from the arts as well. And then I kind of want to jump over to Glenn real quick. Glenn, can you describe your experience with Kaylin and Anna? I know Kayla didn't do the Young Audiences program, but can you just describe your experience with both of these women and how you see them grow over the years and just become the people that they are today?
Being a fine arts teacher is different, I think, than teaching some of the other disciplines, because as students track through their academic program in school, they change math teachers from year to year, and they change science teachers and the other disciplines. In this situation, I was their theater director for 7 years, from the time they were in the 6th grade through high school. And not only did we have a class together most of those years, but we had after-school rehearsal, and we traveled for various competitions. So in my relationship with these young ladies and a number of other students, we got to spend a lot of time together, in and out of the classroom. And I watched them grow up. Maybe you can imagine the difference between a 6th grader and a 12th grader. And if you look at them now, of course, they're lovely young women in college, but I saw them when they were little bitty kids, from the 6th grade on. And so it was almost like watching your own kids grow up. I was able to mark certain experiences that we had and exchanges that we had in the classroom or on the stage. I saw them go through disappointment and how to deal with that. And I saw them deal sometimes with embarrassment and also with great achievement and great success. And I hope I helped them to kind of balance those things. Life is full of disappointments and successes, and you don't always get the leading role. I'd love to hear them talk about that journey and how it was like, in the early years, having to pay their dues, so to speak, and take some pretty small roles, but it led them to the point where they both ended their careers as state champions in the duet acting area and also as with leading roles on the stage. So I was very proud of that relationship we had.
Well, I love that you actually brought that up because that was one of my next questions. I just wanted to ask both Kayla and Anna, could you describe some experiences that maybe weren't so pleasant? Maybe you got rejected for a role, or maybe you didn't get the part that you wanted. So I was just thinking, Kayla, could we start off with you and just tell me about a time that you faced some disappointment and what lessons it taught you and how it made you become a better person just overall?
Yeah, of course. So what was actually unique about when we would face disappointment is we're working under Mr. Ballard, and he's working to put on this great performance where everybody's going to work as a team. So he has to cast who he sees best fit to improve that team and improve that performance. But a lot of times that meant that we weren't getting the lead role. And so just having that trust in our relationship with Mr. Ballard and knowing that he was doing what was best for us, I feel like is really what got me through not getting cast what I wanted to get cast as a lot of the time. I remember I auditioned for The Sound of Music in 6th grade, and this is right after I had gone on the drama rotation. I was on a big theater kick, and so I auditioned for the musical, and I got called into callbacks, and I didn't get a role. And I was heartbroken, and I thought, okay, well, I guess drama's just not my thing. We're just not going to do it. It'll be okay. And then Mr. Ballard stopped me in the hallway one day at school, and he said, I don't want this to discourage you. I don't want you to stop trying. You are going to be in a musical one day. You just need to keep working towards it. And he reassured me. He let me know that everybody in the program loves me, that it's nothing against who I am as a person, but he just needs to do what's best for the show. I got to go watch The Sound of Music, and it was phenomenal. He made great decisions in the casting. And then the next year, I got to audition for Annie, Get Your Gun, and got cast as the role I auditioned for. And that was the most fun performance I've ever been a part of. And I'm just so grateful for the disappointment, so that it encouraged me to try harder for the role the next coming year.
Well, that's just awesome. I feel like, everyone, it's good to face some disappointment every now and then because it really just teaches you how to grow as a person as well. And then, Anna, could you describe to us your experience with maybe something that didn't go your way and how you overcame that?
Yeah. One of my musicals with Mr. Ballard was Emma, and I wanted a bigger part, and I got a really small part in my head, at least. And I was really disappointed about that. But again, like what Kayla said, is Mr. Ballard knows best. And I've never even seen the show before, and I just know I wanted a big part. I wanted to be the center of attention, and Mr. Ballard was like, no, that's not what you get to do. And he gave me a part that really fit me and my personality and my strengths. And even though that's not originally what I wanted, after the play, I was so thankful that, wow, this part I feel very confident in, and I feel like I did great in, and I made so many people laugh. And the part that I originally wanted, I wouldn't have gotten that. And then Oklahoma, my senior year show, again, I didn't get the part I wanted. I wanted to be Ado Annie and have this funny song, and instead I got Aunt Eller, which I thought she just kind of sat there the whole time, but I was so wrong. And once again, Mr. Ballard knows best. And she's so funny, and she's funny because Mr. Ballard knew how to cast her and knew that I would do good if I played this character right, and I wouldn't do good if I was Ado Annie. So
I want to go to Kayla first and respond to something she said about Annie, Get Your Gun being her all-time favorite role. Are you serious about that, given the other things that you did?
Yes. Yeah. I'm so grateful that I finally made it to a leading lady my senior year and got to play Lori in Oklahoma. It was like a dream come true. But Annie, Get Your Gun as a whole, as a production, I don't know if it was just because it was my first musical, but man, I'm pretty sure the role was added in. I don't even know if it was initially there because I was one of Annie's little sisters. And just getting to work with all of the high school students and with Mr. Ballard, and I remember one night, this is actually my favorite memory in theater ever. The power went out. There was a horrible storm one night of the play, and the power went out, and it's just completely pitch black backstage. And everybody's freaking out. What are we gonna do? How is the show gonna go on? And I just hear this booming voice start singing, "There's no business like show business." And I was just like, this is theater. The show must go on. this is what we're here for. And we finished that play with the house lights on, and I just love going back to that memory.
Yeah,
And
I was at that show, and I didn't even go to that school yet, and I didn't even know who Kayla was or Mr. Ballard was, but I saw that show where the lights went out and everyone was clapping. I was like, I know I want to be part of this.
yeah.
Well, and Anna, I want to go to you also because you talked about, roles that you wanted and then ended up in another place, and you did a great job with everything you were cast at.
Thank you.
But I appreciate the trust that you had, and sometimes in life you have to do that where somebody chooses something for you that you didn't originally, plan yourself. And so anyway, it's been a delight to watch both of you grow. So Tristen, can I segue into the literary arts?
Yeah, of course, that'd be great. Yeah, I was actually just going to ask you. I know you had some questions prepared as well, so feel free to go ahead and take the floor and just ask Kayla and Anna whatever questions that you have prepared.
Well, in particular, when we think of the arts, we usually think of the performing arts, musical theater, band, orchestra, choir, and even the visual arts. But I believe, as a representative of the arts, that the literary arts are also very, very important. And one of our guests today has the distinction of being a published poet. And I'd like Anna to talk a little bit about the importance of the young audience's Poetry in Schools contest that she was a part of. She's actually participated several years. And Poetry in Schools goes back almost 40 years, maybe a little over 40 years here in Northeast Texas. And we work with schools across Region 7, the 17 counties in Region 7, to promote student poets, and those who perform at a certain level get published. And Anna has that distinction of being a published poet. Yeah. So tell us about the poem you wrote and what that experience meant to you.
Yeah. I have really struggled with dyslexia and ADHD and a lot of just different learning differences, where I felt always like I was not smart enough and I was not supposed to be here and I can't do things like other people can do them. And it was just really frustrating growing up. And then my school in elementary school had this poetry competition contest, and I didn't really think much of it. There was these little I am poems. And so it's like I am and then say something and just what you believe about yourself. And I put my identity in my dyslexia at that time. So my whole poem was about how I'm dyslexic and I'm not good enough and I'm not smart enough, and just that whole story. And then the poem won, and I was like, didn't even really realize that really, I think, went into a competition. And it gave me so much confidence in the fact that I am good at something. And I was saying earlier, I'm good at theater, and that gave me confidence. And being good at something really helps to get out, I guess. I don't know. But it made me feel so much better about myself. And then in the poem, there's one section that says, I don't know if I'm going to go to college or something like that. And I'm just kind of looking back at my life right now, and I'm going to UT Austin. And, I don't think any of this would be possible if it wasn't for the arts, because my resume, I had all this stuff with Mr. Ballard that I won, all these competitions and duets and solo acting and poetry. And my resume and school wanted me not because I was good at reading and math and whatever, but it was because I was good at arts and that I loved something outside of school.
That's a great story, Anna. And if you don't mind, you mentioned the competition that you and Kayla had done over the years.
Yes.
Could you please comment on what that was like? Because that's a very different thing, getting prepared for it, finding the event you want to do, the traveling that we did. And I think this is probably when I was most brutal with you, was in our preparation for competition, because, we just constantly working on a selection every day to get it better. So tell us a little bit about, Kayla, the competitive aspects of theater that you did.
Of course. So me and Anna actually had the privilege of being duet acting partners for many years, and we got the privilege of placing in state many years. But basically what the preparation process looks like for that is it is a rigorous, you are working in the classroom, you are memorizing, you are nitpicking, you are kind of constantly being told, okay, this needs to be elevated, this needs to be done better, you need more range here. So if you don't have that thick skin, it can be tough. But that I feel like in musical theater and in plays, if you're not entered into a competition, the biggest reward you get is the audience's laughter or crying or applause. But in a competition, the biggest reward you can get is a gold place medal. And so it's really encouraging to have that drive to work harder and to do better. And that's where we really got to grow under our discipline of Mr. Ballard is, he wants us to get there. And so he's encouraging us, but he's also disciplining us to be better.
Yeah, I think me and Kayla became super duper close through the process. And it was just probably my favorite memories just of all was getting up there, performing in front of our peers, and our peers telling us, like, oh, you did this bad, you need to do this better. And then me and Kayla going back into the hallway and looking at our script and then just fixing all these things and then coming back. And now we have different things we have to fix. And it's just like, really makes you feel bad, but also really good because if if they didn't think it was good enough to critique, they wouldn't have critiqued it. So,
All right, Glenn, is there anything else that you would like to also just talk about with Kayla and Anna, maybe your experiences with them? I know that we talked earlier about disappointments, but how was it to actually have to tell those girls no and just to tell them, yeah, I know this is going to hurt their feelings, but it's going to be better for them in the long run?
Well, I don't think I told them no very often. They may remember the no's, but I tend to remember the yeses, and they made me so proud. I often told my students that the only way I can be successful is if I help them be successful. And I'm going to call them two of my poster children because if I had to put someone forward, that I was very, very proud of and wanted others to know about their story, these would be two of those young ladies. There were other students. They're not the only ones, but I was a theater director for 27 years, and in that role, I had the chance to, help nurture, like Anna said, her self-confidence, and to help Kayla and other students like her with their ability to communicate and articulate what they were thinking and feeling. And we used the scripts and the stories that we told as a vehicle to learn how to empathize with people and just to be creative thinkers and problem solvers and be a part of a team. My wife, Rebecca, who's a dear friend of theirs also, we referred to Rebecca as the drama mama because she, took care of all the young people. But we would often tell students when they were in our program that we hoped that their drama experience would be one of their 10 defining moments in their life, and especially in their school career. And I think in the case of Kayla and Anna, that's the case. And I'm just proud of them. I'm thankful that they're working in college, and I hope I'm not revealing something that's not ready to be revealed, but Kayla has indicated that in her education program that she's wanting to maybe be a theater teacher and director one day. So nothing would make me more proud than that she's sort of, following in my steps and carry on the tradition.
Well, that's awesome, Kayla. I honestly didn't know that. He didn't tell me that before the show, and I just wanted to ask, if you're able to talk about it, do you feel like this is a full circle moment for you going from being introduced to theater and doing it to now you might be able to teach the younger generation how to just, perform in an aspect in which you did so well at?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I didn't know that I wanted to be a teacher or even a theater teacher in high school, and then going to college, I just had all of these passions, and I have a passion for standing up in front of people and talking, which is what teachers do, and I also have a passion for theater and for English and for history, and so I was thinking of, how can I combine those things and glorify the Lord with them, because my faith is also really important to me, and just it was so clear to me that teaching was the next step in that. And then I looked back on the most impactful people in my life, and every single one of them has been a teacher, including Mr. Ballard. And so just to possibly have the opportunity to later in life make a difference and encourage students and build them up and teach them about the Lord and faith the way that Mr. Ballard and many other teachers have done for me is really exciting and encouraging.
That's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that so much. And we are coming up on the end of our time here, but one thing I want to do is I just want to ask all three of you one by one to just share any final thoughts you have. Maybe it's about the arts, maybe it's about learning from Glenn, or Glenn just about young audiences, whatever you want to just leave the audience with for a final statement. Just feel free to go ahead and do that. And then I was thinking we could have Glenn go first.
Okay. Well, I believe that the arts helps students become lifelong learners. And you may not pursue the sciences or math or some other aspect, which are all vital disciplines. I'm not belittling any of those classes, but students who perform in an orchestra or who sing or who act or who paint, these are life skills that can truly last a lifetime. And so I want to say to Kayla and Anna and others like them, keep acting and keep telling the story. And I saw a little video of one of my granddaughters the other night in her elementary school Christmas program, and one of my pieces of advice to her was I said, Millie, keep dancing. She was dancing front and center in this little program. And so I hope that students will be lifelong learners of whatever arts discipline they are passionate about. And Kayla and Anna both have a lot to offer in the years to come, and I hope to watch their careers grow and develop. Good luck, ladies.
All right, and then Anna, any lasting thoughts that you would like to share?
Yeah, I think that the arts are way more important than anyone realizes. And for me, it was super important. And even in college right now, I'm a special ed major, so I'm learning about special education and those kind of kids. And the main thing that all my classes are saying is that these kids need the arts. Like, they need to be able to draw and to be able to sing and to be able to express themselves when words aren't enough. So.
Good.
All right, and then Kayla, what about you?
I would just say that we look around and there is creation everywhere, and that has been given to us by a creator, and we were made in his image to model that creativity, which is such a blessing. I mean, you think about animals and they don't have the ability to create the way that we do. And so don't hold back on that blessing. Like, use it to your full ability. Be creative. Get yourself involved in the arts and find an outlet for yourself.
All right, well, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming on the show. Glenn, Kayla, Anna, I really appreciate y'all's time and sharing your stories. This is definitely something unique and hopefully something that we can do in the future. And I just want to say I really appreciate everyone coming on and just really kind of talking about theater and just talking about how it can change your life outside of school as well.
Thanks, Tristen.
Thank you.
Of course.